This film I enjoyed tremendously. I almost feel like we shouldn't even talk about it, because to say anything beyond the first 5 minutes is almost to ruin it.
Yeah, kind of. Let's try. Let's try.
So without spoiling anything too much for anyone, why? Because it's. I mean, I don't think it's spoiling anything to say there's a zombie element to it, which is a very populated genre. But what was it in this one that seemed different to you and interesting?
I suppose what was slightly different from a zombie point of view was, and I said this to Yolanda and Ben, my first conversation with them, is I said, look, I'm not a massive. I don't feel a massive need to make a zombie film per se. I don't think the world needs to see me in a zombie film particularly. You know, what I'm responding to is the human family element to it, you know, and the survival element, and the love a person has for their family, and the desire to see them safe. Yeah, I like the use of, it's a sort of judicial use of zombies in this, because they're not front and centre. I am.
Absolutely.
And every film that I'm in should have me front and centre. That's what's lacking in cinema.
It's interesting that you say that, because for a lot of it, I mean, you have other co-stars, but for a lot of it, there's not many, or they're unspeaking.
True, yeah.
What's it like, that filmmaking experience of you're pretty much the only person on screen?
Well, yes, and as you say, for portions that's the case, and there is also a fantastic cast that I'm working with as well. But yeah, my character spends a fair bit of time on his own, or just with his baby daughter. It's good. I like that. I mean, there are times that you do miss. You know, I think for when it's only for a certain amount of time, every actor likes solo screen time. Of course you do. But after a while, you do miss bouncing off people. Yeah, because that's a real pleasure. You know, working with good people that's really where the magic happens for me. That's what I enjoy doing. But of course, yeah, there are, for portions of a project where if it's just on you, you're only relying on yourself. You're not having to, you know, think about how this fits in with what 3 other people. You just, okay, well, this is just it now. This is it for this next 10 minutes or whatever. That's good too. But I wouldn't like to make a career out of that. Yeah, I wouldn't be a very happy person if I was just doing one-man shows.
Were you in any way surprised that this came to you, that you were the man that they wanted for this?
I mean, you're always pleasantly surprised that, you know, when you get offers of jobs, and very grateful that people still want to employ you. I mean, not massively, because I think I know why they did. I think, you know, if it had been a straightforward, because there's action in it, and there's, you know, it's kind of a ruggedy action film to a certain extent, and I'm not known as a rugged action guy, but the majority of it, as I say, is kind of emotion, and yeah, people trust me with that. I think, you know, some people do.
Do you think that's why they wanted you? Because you know that's not your standard thing.
Yeah,
so
probably.
It's a normal guy
exactly,
because
it's a man totally out of his comfort zone. You know, because the world has gone tits up and no one knows what they're doing, and so everyone is an amateur at this survival thing. So even if you're, you know, a reasonably capable person and a reasonably physical person, you've still not encountered a zombie apocalypse before. So I guess, yeah, and you don't want someone who looks like they have, I guess, you know. Yeah. My bugbear about things like that is when people look like, A, they're not scared, or B, they just know everything that's going on, and I don't believe either of those things about humans, ever. In real life, I just don't believe it. So why are you lying to us by being heroic? Because I just don't believe in that.
Do you find, as a man who's been in so many successful things, that people start to think this is what he does, so we will send him these?
Without question, yeah. I mean, what I will say is I'm very glad that over the last several years, the thing that I do has at least turned into things that I do. Do you know what I mean? So I'm very lucky with that. Anyway, you're lucky if people call for you. That's great. But I think I've tried as hard as I can to keep the window open, just to go, oh, it's not, you know, I can maybe do that, and I can maybe do that. So please don't just think I just do this little thing. But yeah, of course, inevitably. But you know, whether it's painting or music or whatever, or you know, carpentry. I'm sure really good carpenters get typecast. You make that sort of table, don't you? You know, and that's understandable, because if people want a certain table and you know that guy does a great table like that, you'll call him or her. Some carpenters are women, all right, and that's very important to remember. But it's also, but every carpenter and painter and actor wants to slightly kick against that as well. Like, I acknowledge why it happens, because it makes sense. Of course, you know, if you think I can do that, of course you want me to do that. But you try, you know, with your team, you try and keep other plates in the air as well, just to go, look, I know you think I'd do that, but have you considered me? You know, I also do chairs, not just tables.
I feel like we're edging towards you really want to do carpentry
I
next.
do feel, in a way, and my publicist won't like this, but I think we know who else was a very famous carpenter, don't we? And it's now, at the age of whatever I am, 35, I have got that calling. I've just realised. And I think it's that I looked into the light and I thought, yeah, that is me. I am him.
Is it because there's a light?
It is, in a way, yeah, it is. And there's a little glow of light behind me, yeah.
I'm so glad I could be here to witness the moment of your calling. Yeah. Thank you so much.
That was the last interview I'll ever do, so good for you.
And now you're off to lead millions of people to the promised land.
Yeah, I'll just go back to the outback, just with slightly, you know, more children.